Welcome to the Skeptic Zone, the podcast from Australia for science and reason.
Yes, it's the Skeptic Zone, episode number 159 for... I'm not even sure what the date is because, folks, I have to tell you, I'm in the middle of Death Valley. Yes, Death Valley, California, with my good friend, Brian Dunning.
From Skeptoid.com.
I knew he was going to say that. Brian...
Senor.
We are in a little... I'm lost for words. We're having a chili burger, that's all I know, but we are in Death Valley. And we've had a wonderfully interesting day.
We've been freezing all day. And we're sitting here in the bar at Panamint Springs eating chili burgers and drinking some of their amazing beer collection.
What a selection they have.
And we started off at Titus Canyon, and then we went to the racetrack, and where the mysterious moving rocks are.
And that was cold. Oh boy!
It's been freezing most of the day. We've been driving through snow. We had some rain. We had a blazing sandstorm this morning.
Yeah.
And what month is it even? I don't even know. August, November?
Yeah, I think so.
November.
I hope so.
And we've been getting snow today. Yeah.
But we've. I know your confusion because the last 2 days have seemed like we've put in 3 months worth of adventures.
It's been a whirlwind week.
To go to the racetrack where you may have heard about it, listeners, where these famous stones move across the mud flats all by themselves. And you did an episode on it, Brian, where you came up with a very plausible explanation, I must say, a very early episode of Skeptoid.
Am I allowed to summarize that explanation
You
here?
are. Please do.
I was there back in 2002 in the spring. And the thing about the spring is that the snow melt has been coming down and flowing onto the racetrack. The racetrack is a flat, dry lake bed, but it's not low desert like many places are. It's actually up in the high desert, so it's fairly unusual. But it's not among dry lake beds.
It's not dry all the time.
It's not dry. When the snow melt comes down, there's a lake that's on it, and you're still at a high altitude. It's I want to say 5,000-6,000 feet.
Well, listeners can Google racetrack and Death Valley. They'll find out.
And so it gets quite cold, and this little lake that's on it freezes. And what do you have when there's a frozen giant sheet of ice over a dry lake bed that has rocks poking up through it, and you have these incredibly strong winds, like that nearly killed us today.
We can attest to the incredibly strong winds.
Oh, my God.
Oh, wow.
Hypothermia.
Yeah.
And so this ice sheet is literally dragging the rocks around back and forth as it moves. Ice has a lot more torque than... torque is not the right word.
Pull. Push. Power.
Has a lot. It grips the rocks more strongly than wind.
Momentum,
does.
One might say.
The usual scientific explanation is that wind pushes the rocks all by itself. Now, as anyone can imagine, if you've got a giant heavy rock sitting in soft mud and kind of embedded, how much wind is it going to take to actually pick that rock up and start it moving? That just doesn't happen in the real
Some of the
world.
rocks we saw there today, these are not pebbles, folks, I can assure you. They were substantial rocks you could not lift in your wildest dreams.
Yes.
These were serious rocks, and they were being somehow dragged, pushed around. And your ice explanation, I think, is pretty good. And you did a video.
Yes, I took video of this frozen lake moving across the surface. Now, when I was there, it was a little bit later in the spring, and there was some ice on the lake, but it was mostly just water, and so we didn't actually see any ice sheets hitting the rocks because it was a little bit too warm for that. However, in the previous weeks, that's what had been happening the whole time. This whole lake was a giant ice sheet, and this powerful wind was just moving it around. So I'm fairly confident that I was lucky enough to see what causes the rocks to move, even though we didn't actually see rocks getting pushed by the ice at the time we were there.
What's the name of your Skeptoid episode on this? It's called the Flying Rocks, the Moving Rocks?
Yeah, I called it the Living Stones of Death Valley.
The Living Stones of Death Valley. Worth listening to, listeners, if you haven't listened to that episode of Skeptoid. But on the rest of today's show, we go back to Louisiana, to New Orleans for the CSICON convention, where I was a number of days ago, I catch up to Amira, hello Amira, on your yacht, who is a listener to the show.
Hi, Amira. We're ready for our invitation to your yacht.
Yes, please send us there. And our good friend and a good friend of the Skeptic Zone, Dr. Steve Novella. And
Who's he?
Yeah, right. And after that, it's back to Skepticamp Melbourne a few weeks ago, where our good friend and reporter Maynard catches up with various people attending Skepticamp. And I still wish I was there, but you can't be everywhere at once. And we're going to cover such issues as HIV denial and the UMSS. Brian, the UMSS. What do you think that stands for?
UMSS.
UMSS.
University of Maryland Secret Service.
How did you know? Find out more.
Highly intuitive.
Find out more. And after that, we go into, oh yes, it's the hot tub of truth, Brian. And we learn all about how you put Skeptoid, your podcast, how you put it together.
Well, you have to be skeptical of what I say, because maybe I'm just making stuff up as I go.
Well, Brian, you and I are... Oh, you're finished. You're full. I've been too busy trying to put the show together. You finished your chili burger.
Oh, my God. I'm so hungry, and I'm cold, and the chili is fabulous here.
It's damn good. I've still got half of my chili burger to go. I'm going to dig into that. I'm going to enjoy the rest of this beer while our listeners enjoy the Skeptic Zone. I'm back here at the Committee for Skeptical Inquiry Convention in New Orleans. It's still going on. It's a marvellous time. And I've had the great pleasure to meet Amira. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing really well today. It's day 3 or day 4. I'm sort of losing count. People
yes.
Have you noticed that people are eating all this ice cream?
Yes, ice cream with warm cones, all sorts of lovely snacks. That's supplied nice. By the convention. Very nice.
Now, I'd like to have a chat with you because you said hello to me a few days ago because you listen to the Skeptic Zone.
I absolutely do. One of the first podcasts, one of the first skeptical podcasts I ever came across. And I'm listening to it for about 1.5 years now.
That's fantastic. And, of course, which is great. I'm so pleased you do. But you listen to it in an unusual spot doing unusual things. Now, don't get any ideas, listeners.
I live on a boat. I live on a private yacht. I work on that yacht as well, and I work when the guests aren't there. I work regular day 9 to 5 in the galley, and I download many podcasts and listen to them back to back all day long.
Wow!
Yes, so that's how I caught up on a few years of your podcasts. Yeah.
So when you're cruising along in the ocean and the ship's rocking back and forth and you're hearing in the background, the Skeptic Zone.
Yes, that song, the crew knows that song off by heart already. But most of the time we're in the marina when the guests aren't there. But it's on quite often.
And, well, of course, I'm flattered that you run the Skeptic Zone on your system, but you also enjoy our colleagues, of course, their skeptical podcasts.
Yep.
The SGU.
SGU I listen to. Mm-hmm. I listen to The Conspiracy Skeptic with Carl Mamer. I listen to Safek Seville because I speak Hebrew fluently.
Yes.
So I actually found that podcast through you guys. Originally,
because we ran a little blurb for it. Yes,
last year.
Right. Yes.
This is Yaron
and Liora
from Safek Savir, the skeptical podcast for Hebrew speakers. Come listen to all things unholy in the holy language at www.safek.co.il.
נשמח למאזינים נוספים מאוסטרליה.
And there's a lot. I listen to Point of Inquiry. And Desiree Schell also as well.
Of course, Desiree Schell. Yes, that's a great podcast, a radio show and a podcast.
Yes. So it's a lot of fun, a lot of information crammed into 1.5 years, and it's great fun, and it's very, very educational.
Well, we try, and I'm sure I can speak for my colleagues in the skeptical podcasting world. We certainly try to make it interesting and entertaining and educational.
Absolutely. It is the package. It's definitely the package. Some people are funnier than others. Some people are more serious. Some people, I mean, there's a great selection, and I enjoyed very, very much.
It's fun. I must say it's fun when the Skeptic Zone team get together and we're recording a session called the Think Tank.
Yes.
It's always after a big dinner.
Okay.
And so much, and here, let listeners in on secrets here, I have to edit out so many things. We'll be talking about something very seriously, and then someone pulls a face, or someone tips something over, and it's... forget about it. We all lose the plot, but you'd never know.
No, because, you can't see it, so...
Yeah.
It's just what you hear. You have the hot tub sessions.
Oh, with Brian Dunning,
yes.
The hot tub of truth.
I don't remember the title. I just remember there was a hot tub involved, some spirits, and not the ghostly kind.
That's right.
And it was interesting. Oh, and Brian Dunning also. Because of Brian Dunning, I actually got into the entire skeptics movement when I mistakenly, in my conspiracy theory days, when I downloaded There Be Dragons, thinking it was a conspiracy film.
Wow.
And after about 5 minutes, I said, wow, this is not a conspiracy film. This is a skeptical documentary.
Yes.
And I was in Japan. I remember it very well. And that's how it all started.
I will...
Skeptoid after that.
Skeptoid.com.
Yes.
In fact, because of the nature of podcasts and recording, I will probably be talking to Brian Dunning when this show goes out, indeed. So I'm sure he'll be delighted to hear that. Yes, I've been following Skeptoid for a while, and I really enjoyed... Here be dragons. Here be dragons.
Here be dragons.
Here be dragons.
Yes.
And in fact, I watched it originally a couple of years ago when it came out, and a month or so ago, I thought I better watch it again.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and it shifted me. It gave me a real shift from being... I wasn't a heavy conspiracy theorist. What I did was I listened to a lot of information. Some things were far too bizarre and unreasonable. Some things were plausible. And that documentary really made me... leave the dark side, I have to say.
Yeah, it's really well done. I mean, the bad thing about it is you have to look at Brian Dunning for 40 minutes, but
could be worse.
Life could be worse, I suppose. Now, what do you think of this wonderful Committee for Skeptical Inquiry convention we have at the moment?
I think the convention is a lot of fun. It's very well organized.
It's packed, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of people having a very good time, meeting all sorts of people from all over.
Yeah,
and a lot of great information, good food, wonderful hotel, and it's really a lot of fun, and I'm very, very happy that I signed up in August and plan to come here because I'm having a wonderful time.
Well, the word I'm getting is that they certainly want to do it again, and if they do it again, they certainly were looking to have it back in New Orleans, which would make me very happy.
Yes.
I haven't had as much time, simply because there's been such a packed convention, to get out and wander around, which in the new city I'd like to do. I might see if I can do that a bit later on. But the hotel's fine.
Yeah, very nice.
But of course, you don't come here for the hotel. You come here for the quality of the convention. And so far, all the talks have been really good.
The talks have been flying by, sitting around for an hour, 2 hours. All sorts of great speakers.
Yeah.
The banquets are wonderful. There's speakers at the banquets, at the lunches. So much information, open to questions, which is something that I love to do.
Yes.
And
I've been seeing you ask questions.
Yes, definitely.
You do.
I'm a question asker.
You were at the lunch with Paul Offit.
Yes, I was.
You were up there asking a question.
Yeah. I saw him speak. I saw an interview of his a few weeks back, and very interesting subject matter, the anti-vaxxing, and very interesting. Steve Novella as well, and Bill Nye is coming up today later on, which I'm really looking forward to because he's a big hero of mine, even though I was a big girl already. I was an older teenager. I still loved his programs.
Yes,
so.
He's been very visible here the last few days. Everyone's had the chance to meet Bill Nye.
Yes.
And I know for a lot of people, he's not very well known in Australia.
Right.
We just didn't have his TV show. But I know for most of the people coming to this convention, Bill Nye is certainly a wonderful character to meet. And there's a room. There's some people, some old friends. There's goes Steve Novella.
Yes, that's right. There's Mr. Novella right there.
Running away from us. Rebecca Watson's just on the table down there.
That's correct, yep.
Yaman Chan is right there eating an ice cream from...
He's enjoying it.
From a Survivor, of course, the show he was on. And just across the way, looking almost directly at us, is the smoking man from
X-Files. And I think I know a little secret about the smoking man.
Oh?
He doesn't smoke. But I would like to have a photograph with him with a cigarette dangling out of my mouth, unlit, of course, because we're indoors. I think that would be a very, very cool picture.
He might have a laugh out of that, I don't know. But no, this is because we're in the sort of the breakout room, the
book room,
the book room,
break room, yeah,
the book room. So there's people milling around. Lots of books.
Yes,
you've got some. What did you get?
Yes, there was a talk yesterday by Stephen Machnik and Susana Martinez Conde about their collaboration, Sleights of Mind, and how neuroscience
reveals. Great talk. Yeah.
Wonderful. I'm really looking forward to reading this one.
And of course,
Simon Singh and Edzard Erst. The German researcher.
Yes.
They did a wonderful collaboration from what I heard. It's called Trick or Treatment. And it's all about alt medicine, and I'm really looking forward to reading it.
And we speak of the devil, and he arrives.
Here he is.
Hello, Steve Novella.
Hey, how are you doing, guys?
We're doing fine. Grab a chair.
I didn't mean to intrude.
Oh, absolutely.
No, we're happy to see you. We were just, I don't know if you've met Amira.
Yes.
We have met, yes.
She's a big fan of SGU, of course, and she even listens to my podcast. But let me get your impression, Steve. I'm absolutely enjoying this convention so far. What's your take?
Oh, I mean, how could you not love it? It's a skeptical conference. It's all of our friends are here. It's a great lineup. There's been the talks have all been interesting so far. So yeah.
I agree, and they're keeping us busy.
Oh yeah. It's definitely nonstop. They've done a good job of packing in the lectures and the panels. They do something that a lot of conferences don't do. They have occasional breakouts where you have to choose between one or the other, which is.
It can be tough, actually.
It can be tough. I mean, it's always have mixed feelings about that. It's a way of getting more choices in there and more different kinds of content, but then there's inevitably two things at the same time you want to listen to. So.
Yeah, that's happened to me already, and, I just had to choose one. But that's cool. I mean, it's over 4 days.
Yes.
So it's amazing how many talks they're actually packing into those 4 days.
Yeah. Now, the CSI has always had a great network of skeptics. They have obviously a lot of fellows.
Yeah.
And they've never had a problem packing a conference with just tremendous speakers.
And congratulations to you, by the way, on your award last night.
Thank you.
We had a big dinner, and you and Bill Nye both were given awards.
Yes, it was very humbling to be on the stage with Bill Nye and get an award at the same time as he did. But yeah, I was very happy to receive that. So obviously Barry Carr told me about it months ago, so it wasn't a surprise.
Right, of course. Yeah.
And this is the first time they actually presented the award at a conference.
Well, they haven't had a conference for quite a while.
Like 8 years or something.
Yeah.
So I'm glad they're getting back into the conference game.
Me too. Actually, and I'm glad they chose New Orleans because I've never been here before.
I've been here a couple of times. It's but not since this is my first time post Katrina in New Orleans.
Right, really?
It looks the same as far as I could say, but I haven't been to apparently there are some parts of the town that haven't recovered.
Yeah.
But I've pretty much stuck to the French Quarter.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get the opportunity to do a tour like that around.
Yeah.
Really. But that's okay. Now, any more harebrained schemes like 24-hour podcasts?
We're still recovering from that.
Did you know about that?
Yes, absolutely. It was well publicized, and there were people tuning in live, and there were some recorded bits floating around, and it was very popular in the community. That's for sure.
And I think you did have a few technical hiccups, but everyone understood.
Yeah, there were technical glitches. It was much more technically complicated than we imagined. And I was just happy we survived it. We had the one down period at the beginning where we didn't know if we were going to get back up, and it would have been a disaster if we didn't. But And that was sort of the biggest problem. Was the one thing that was out of our control, and that was just access to the internet. We lost it. We didn't know why. Still don't know why. We just kept doing stuff until it came back. Luckily, we got it back pretty soon. But we are planning on doing more live shows. Probably not a 24-hour show anytime soon. We'll probably do like
48,
2 to 3 hour, just like a regular show, a regular weekly show,
right?
But just live, just with video and just streaming. 90% of the work, honestly, was building this set.
I was impressed. It was like the Starship Enterprise.
It's just sitting there, so we can't not use it. We got to get back on that set at some point.
Yeah.
We're going to auction off all those big screen TVs and all those monitors and all.
Well, those are mostly our computer monitors that we, just connected to to
Is this somebody's basement or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Somebody's mother's basement?
Yes, it might be. It was the biggest, driest basement we had access to.
Yeah.
So,
of course, if you do another live show, 2 or 3 hours, just have a careful look at the globe and make it for about 6 p.m. Sydney time, please. That would suit me very well. Yeah.
What would that be in Connecticut time?
Oh, who cares, man?
We'll just have a Sydney time clock on the panel. And definitely. We love talking with you guys during. That's what's part of what was fun about the 24-hour show is that. At different, it was like 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. to us, but it was in the middle of the day for you guys. So
yeah. So, when we started our segment, Dr. Rachie, Joanne, and myself, you weren't there, and you sort of appeared a little bit later.
I was in the middle of my scheduled nap.
Yes.
Which I scheduled it so that I wouldn't miss anyone's complete interview. So I sort of rejoined the pack halfway through you guys.
Yeah, that was good fun. Now we really enjoyed it. We were in Dr. Rachel's front room with the aircrafts going by, and it was a big kick. It was a really big kick.
Oh, it was. We survived because of all the interviews. We had. But it was easy to. The one thing that. Like most people, when you say, we're going to do a 24-hour continuous show, the first reaction everyone had was, how are you going to fill 24 hours of content?
Yeah.
And it turned out that was the easiest part of the whole thing. It was no problem at all to fill 24 hours. By the time we went through all the interviews, and we had some bits and a few science or fictions, and we didn't even get a third of the way through the news items we had prepped.
Wow.
It was easy to fill the time.
And George Hrubb came in and joined you for a while.
Oh, he was awesome. Yeah, he showed up in the morning when we needed that extra jolt. He came in full of energy, and we did a drum circle kind of thing right at first, which was a good wake-up kind of activity. He's always a pleasure. He's just
absolutely, yeah.
Very funny guy, great stage presence, just a good interaction, good vibe.
And
it was great.
When I arrived here and I'm looking around and there's Steve from Novella, there's Phil Plate, and I'm thinking, somebody's missing.
Where is George?
Yeah,
Why isn't he here? Yeah.
Well, it's always next year, right?
Yeah. I hope as CSI grows, we'll get more and more of the usual crew here. There's people like George who have become a staple of skeptical conferences.
Well, I can only see a bright future for this particular convention because the first one's been so damn good.
Yeah,
I can recommend it now. It's not even over. In fact, I'll recommend it before I talk, just in case I stink.
I talked to Barry. I think they're definitely planning on doing more, making this an annual thing, keeping it in New Orleans. The wants to keep it on the Halloween weekend, which I think is a good time to be in New Orleans.
Yeah.
I think if Halloween actually falls on the weekend, that could be a little tough for parents and kids. But there's never a perfect time. It's always
and there'll always be times where people can't make it. It's just the nature of it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. We sort of have been shuffling our conferences around to try to avoid conflicts and but it's a good problem to have, in that we're getting a little crowded now. There's so many conferences that we actually have to give each other elbow room, and I think it's one of the successful aspects of the skeptical movement. 10 years ago, you couldn't have 4 major conferences in a year. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Now it's a different world.
Now we're looking for what else can we do. This is great, but we're just looking to grow.
Let's do that. Thanks for chatting to us, Steve.
Thanks for letting me sit down with you for a few minutes.
Not a problem. And I must say thanks to Amira for having a chat with us. And
very happy to do so. And if I
joining in.
can, I wanted just to do a shout out
to
a local Canadian podcast called The Reality Check from the Ottawa Skeptics.
The Reality Check,
and they're great guys and really smart. And I listen to them a lot on the boat. So just hi to all those guys and thanks. And thanks to you. And thanks to everyone here. I had a great time so far. A little bit of time left, day and a half. So.
And you know what? I think we've got just about enough time before the next session to grab some ice cream.
Yeah, and a homemade cone.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Hi, this is Surly Amy from Skeptic.org. I make ceramic jewelry. It's hand-formed and hand-painted. It's inspired by science and skepticism. You can find it at surlyramics.com, SURLYRAMICS.com. Thanks, and be skeptical.
Well, I hope you're enjoying the Skeptic Zone. A little break now. I'm with Brian Dunning at a place called Badwater, Death Valley. We're substantially below sea level because on the hill, the mountain, on the way near the car park, there's a sign that says sea level, which is quite above our heads. And we're on a giant salt plain.
Yes, we are.
Thank you for talking. I was wondering if you were going to say anything.
Boy, I sure would like to have a copy of Google Earth right now and see exactly what the dimensions of this are, but we've walked out sort of there's a flattened area where people normally walk straight out into it, and we've come about to the end of that where it peters out. Do you take pictures and post them along with the episode notes or something like that?
Well, my listeners will probably have seen the panorama I'm just about to take.
All right.
By Twitter and Facebook and tweet, whatever the hell.
The big question, of course, is how far across this can you walk?
We can't estimate. We're in Death Valley. It's a salt plain as far as I can see. There are huge mountains on either side. It's the scale. You know what really?
It's big.
It's big. It just reminds you that on these scales, your sense of scale completely fails you. Yeah. We cannot estimate how far it is to the other side of the valley or how far it is up the valley. Even looking back towards the car park, I mean, we can see all the cars so clearly, but they're
tiny is the word
I'm looking for, but it's dramatic.
Yeah.
It really is dramatic.
Looking straight across, part of the reason you can't, it's hard to judge distances is because the horizon's a mirage in every direction.
Yeah.
Going all the way across, I know it's at least 10 or 15 miles, just based on having spent time here and driven around on the other side. There's the highway, of course, is the main road is the one that we drove here on, and where everyone walks out from. But across on the other side is a dirt road that's much less traveled that I've been up and down a number of times. And I know the edge of this salt plain doesn't go all the way to the other side. There's just more simple dirt and flat and mud flats past the salt plain. So even what we can see is not the extent of the valley floor.
Well, if listeners care to do a Google search for Badwater, Death Valley, and maybe go to Google Maps, you'll see where we are. We're about, what would you say, half a mile from the car park, a mile?
About that, I'd say. Half a mile.
Half a mile.
Kilometer or so?
Something like that. A magical place, Brian.
Kilometer?
Even that. And if you've ever considered coming to Death Valley, consider no longer.
Put it on your list.
It's a wonderful place.
Here's Maynard's spooky action at a distance.
Look, I'm out in the courtyard once again where all the action is happening. Who have we got here? Christina Eldridge, hello.
Yes. Hello, how are you?
What have you been enjoyed today?
I enjoyed the blogging one. Who was it? It's Dr. Rachel.
All right. Now, what did you learn from that? Were you doing your blogging attacks in a different way, were you? Or?
Not really, but just to look at the success or how you can sort of attack the false information on the internet.
What do you think of the opinion, like Jason was talking in there earlier, that, like, it really isn't worth your time debating creationists and anti-vaxxers online sometimes?
It may not be worth your time, but it can be fun at times.
So if you've got a spare hour or two before you go to bed, you might take them on?
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, have you got a site that we can all go to for a bit of baiting to enjoy that kind of thing? Is there a favourite anti-science site?
Not really, although I do occasionally look at the Ken Ham's Creation magazine. That's fun.
Okay. And is that your favourite sort of woo to? Everyone's got their own woo that gets up their goat. Is that the one for you, the creationist stuff?
I think so, yeah, because I'm studying evolutionary biology for masters.
Oh, well, look, this came up earlier. I was postulating that perhaps aliens had messed with our DNA to cause the Cambrian explosion, but actually what did cause it? Is there a simple explanation?
I don't think there is at the moment, or... in my mind, it's more like you reached a... they reached a point where there was enough information to get to sort of that explosion, but that's sort of... I don't think there's enough information out there yet to really say.
So genetic manipulation by aliens isn't one of those ones they're considering, is it?
Some people will be considering it, I reckon.
I think it must just be me around here then. And is there anything you're looking forward to for the rest of the day apart from the drinks down the pub?
I don't know the drinks. I think are the best part.
And Rene. Hi, Rene. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Oh, fine. I'll take a chance to sit down. But may I add that Rene's about the only person sitting down. That means you're not feeling intense and stamping around like a lot of the skeptics here today.
No, I'm not, but it's because it's my only day off of work. So sitting down here with the UMSS, just chilling out.
Yeah, and actually, what's been your favourite talk today?
The blogging one, definitely, yeah.
Okay. What did you learn from Dr. Rachel's experiences?
To get onto the internet more and blog a bit more.
Oh, and who are the people you like to debate?
Depends how I'm feeling on the day. Mainly probably the creationist, though.
Okay, and is that when you're in your particularly aggressive mood because you hang with the free thought guys here?
Yeah, I'm actually the president of the UMSS.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, good. I was talking to Daniel earlier about the whole thing, and we said that probably the problem with free thinking is that a lot of people have to have a sit down and think about themselves before they commit to it, and that's a pretty hard ask for a lot of people like myself who basically can't be asked.
I think it's kind of something that you do over time. It's just something that lying in bed one night and you're thinking about something like that. And that's what I do a lot of my thinking personally, or in the shower even.
Oh, and what actually sent you off on that path? Did you see a movie or read something or encounter some philosophy at uni or something? Was there something that one day you went, hang on a minute?
I was in about year 8 and started learning about evolution in school and thought, hang on, this is conflicting ideas with what I've been taught from the Bible, because I was originally indoctrinated, and thought this isn't working. And so slowly over the next 5 years or so, really let it all go and thought, no, I'm an atheist. Huh? That's it, hands down.
And also there's been a talk here today about coming out as an atheist or as someone who's sceptical. How did you do it with your family? What's your suggestion? What are your experiences?
I was still going to church whenever with my parents. We weren't really going out a lot, but we'd go and I'd not say anything. I'd stand up, go through the motions, just so people who were looking around at me saw that I was going through the motions, but didn't say anything. No. And they didn't take it very nicely, but they respected my decision, so it's all really good.
And how are Christmas dinners these days?
My family are back in the country, so if I get a chance to go up there, we'll go up there, and it's all good. My mum and dad know, my brothers and sisters know, but my grandparents are kind of latching on now that I'm not, and they're not happy about it, but they're not saying anything to me. I don't think they're happy about it anyway. But yeah, everyone's pretty happy with me, so it's okay.
And what's been the general consensus from the people you know here about Skepticamp today?
I think it turned out really well. Personally, I would like to see more of my society people here.
Did you think they didn't come because of the skeptics label, or was there another reason, or they actually got jobs?
I think it's more so because this is our last weekend before our last week of uni, so
they're drunk?
No, not drunk.
They're working hard.
Hopefully studying, yes, studying.
See, they want to turn that credit into a high distinction. That's what they want, and here you are swanning around with the skeptics.
Yeah, but it's good. I'd much prefer to be here than at work, which I'd be otherwise, so...
Yeah, that's true. Okay, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
did you want, Maynard?
Oh, look, I've just been talking to random people. This guy's pretty random. What's your name, sir?
Brad Kendall.
Brad, now what's your speciality? Why are you here today as a Skepticamp guy?
I'm a member of the Morty Alex Skeptics in the Pub, one of the organisers, and I did a presentation called What's My Ism just recently.
I missed that when I was out talking to the freethinkers.
That's okay. I was up against a very well-titled presentation called Getting to the Bottom of Colon Cleansing. If you had read theirs and mine, I would have gone to theirs as well.
Look, I was there just for fetish reasons, but also I'm going to go and have a colonoscopy in a few weeks' time, so I thought I might know what I'm in for.
Fair enough. Well, colon cleansing and colonoscopy, very different. Very different. Science versus pseudoscience. Yeah, absolutely.
And what has been your favourite thing about today here? I mean, how did your talk go? I assume you went well. You weren't booed. Did anyone walk out?
A little bit of heckling, but no, it was a very good experience overall. I love the skeptical community, and I've been involved for a little while now, and I'm sort of cutting my teeth on this sort of discussion and these sorts of presentations. It's fantastic. It's great to see us coming out.
And what's your favourite woo? I mean, your favourite woo to dislike, the one you love to hate. I've been asking everyone that today because it's good at a skeptics convention to find out. A lot of people anti-vaccination, of course. That's one. A lot of people are against astrology. That's one lower down the level. What's the one that makes you go, hang on a minute?
Yeah. So look, I did a presentation at our Skeptics in the Pub just recently called What's the Harm? And the one that came out for me that actually is doing the most damage and doesn't get enough press is age denial. So HIV denial in Africa is killing millions of people every year, and we should be putting more effort into that as a skeptical community.
And you think it's because we don't have that as much in this country, we just don't see it?
Absolutely. I think that it's out of sight, out of mind for us. So things like homeopathy and AVN are more topical for us. The Blackmore scam and Sensor Slim, those things are getting press for us. But the HIV deniers, they're actually killing people.
Wow. And what would be is there a poster person for that denial?
Look, there is. I think name escapes me at the moment, but there are quite a few people that are buying into the HIV doesn't cause AIDS. So we need to get involved more, I think.
Okay. Look, have a good day here, and hope you enjoy it.
Thank you, Maynard.
Scopes Monkey Choir.
Scopes Monkey Choir. Wait, are we a choir?
No, we're not a choir, but we are musicians.
We're not monkeys either. Oh, we are primates. So what is Scopes Monkey Choir?
It's a podcast.
Oh yeah, it's a podcast.
It's the podcast where music and sound meet science and skepticism.
We are two professional musicians who decided to turn our skeptical eyes on our own profession. We look at the science of music.
We look at studies, recent studies about music and sound.
We look skeptically at musical myths.
We look at... and we dork out about music.
Listen to us at scopesmonkeychoir.com or find us on iTunes. Scopes Monkey Choir.
The podcast where music and sound meet science and skepticism.
Join us now for Drinking Skeptically in the Think Tank.
She's been taking underwater pictures of me.
Underwater pictures? Well, I can't think of anything.
I went to the gym today. It's all right. I'm looking fabulous. Have your trunks and things on. Get my good side there.
I
It's
can't.
not that interesting.
Mm-hmm. I can't think of anything better to do when you're in California than to take underwater photographs in a hot tub with Brian Dunning. Brian, it's a pleasure to see you again, and cheers, everybody.
Cheers. Oh, you were recording all of that?
Yes,
Cheers
for the Spanish people.
All these wonderful people in the Californian think tank tub.
This lovely,
cheers.
lovely evening. This beautiful evening. We have a half moon by a palm tree. I see the palm tree.
A half moon by the palm tree.
Look at that.
What more could you want?
Because this is Southern California, and for everyone who's ever been here, you've seen Beverly Hills on TV. It's all palm trees. Every street.
Literally, we are in the OC.
They're like a pest,
However,
aren't
we
they?
are in the OC.
You have to pull them out.
Literally, they're not native.
She's right. We're in the OC.
Same with
We all have
eucalyptus.
Botox.
Thank you,
I have
Australia,
palm trees on my
for
street.
the invasive
We're
eucalyptus.
in that area. I mean,
of course.
in
Now,
LA.
listeners, I'll describe the scene to you. We're in a wonderful hot tub, and it is hot.
Yeah,
it's lovely.
Warm.
It's very warm. I'm joined by some wonderfully interesting people that Brian Dunning has invited to his hot tub. Brian, why don't you introduce our listeners to these wonderfully interesting people?
Okay. Well, I'm Brian Dunning from Skeptoid.com.
Oh, he had to say it.
Right here we have Christine. Christine, do you actually work at UCI?
No.
Where did I get that idea?
That's my alma mater for my undergraduate days. Very long time ago, but I think we know some of the same music faculty there.
That's right, we do.
You should see this, listeners. Christine is actually in the most interesting position with her foot up in the air.
Apparently she has to be in a strange position to listen to conversation. And then moving around the circle, we have Penny or Penelope? What's preferred?
Penny's fine.
Penworth.
Penworth.
Penny Chan. And you are?
I'm Penelope Chan.
We got that part.
And I'm here.
And she's here. Okay.
That's good enough.
Yeah.
And then in the corner we have Niel.
Niel Paulson. Hello.
Hello. Now, Brian, I've had some requests from listeners who are also, strangely enough, fans of your show, which is what's Brian's show called?
Skeptoid.
Oh, Skeptoid. That's
thank you.
Yes, that's right. And what they wanted
my listener chimed in.
Your listener. I think your listener lives in Australia, and they're curious to know because, heavens above, you produce a good solid 10 minutes every week. Now, when you...
It doesn't sound like
That's
all right.
a heck of a Excuse me, it's
lot
11 to 12.
produce, huh?
11 to 12.
10 minutes every
Thank
week,
you.
and I found them.
That came out wrong. It just sounds like he works 10 minutes a week. That's crazy. No, but you produce a podcast which goes for 11 to 12 minutes.
Yes.
But it's packed full of information. Our listeners would like to know, what's your process, your week-by-week process in putting together a show? From where do you get the ideas from, to how do you do your research, to
Well, I start on the
everything?
homepage of Wikipedia and look at today's news, click on the article and read it.
Moving on.
The old wiki.
No, to be honest, you
So
get
to
a
mess
lot.
with this process, change Wikipedia.
You get a lot of.
One day I did Conservapedia by mistake. That was a real disaster.
Oh boy. Well, you search for science and a picture of Hitler comes up, right? The article has a
That is
first
absolutely
thing you see.
true. I thought that sounded like a joke.
What?
And
No, it's for reals.
Yeah.
Totally.
Their article on evolution. At the time I did their podcast, especially about Conservapedia, their article, when you search for evolution, the picture at the top of the page was Hitler standing there shouting at the pulpit. Now, they still
Because
have that
that's such a
picture
big
on the
connection,
page,
you
but they've
see.
since moved it way, way, way down the page. And actually have a
Still on
picture
that,
of
then.
Charles Darwin at the top, which is...
Well, of
commendable.
course,
He's
as it
kind
should
of
be.
like
Someone they
Hitler
can
to them, I
demonize.
think.
Yes.
though, so.
However,
Easier to demonize than Hitler.
I understand that you get a lot of suggestions from listeners who are very keen to send you ideas.
All the time.
Yep.
I get my email is backed up. It's like 500 messages going back about 9 months right now that I have not yet replied to or thanked the person or evaluate. It's the volume of email I get suggesting ideas is just staggering.
Now, since on your show you keep it strictly to the topic, I know that, which is great, and please don't stop. I'd give you an opportunity now, in which you just did, of course, to thank your listeners for being so kind as to give you good ideas.
It's not only the good ideas. The show is listener supported, and it's financially supported by listeners. It's virtually a full-time job for me now. I certainly spend full-time on it, and I'm having to work part-time at my full-time profession to earn a living to support the family. But it's absolutely a full-time job doing just the one show per week because of all the research involved. And it's not just producing the show; it's being the whole company. Because since it's a listener-supported show, you've got to do community engagement. You've got to do the newsletter and keep in touch with the people. Doing Facebook and Twitter, and then dealing with requests for dealing with the website, dealing with travel arrangements and all this stuff. It's just an incredible amount of work. Yeah, it's fun.
So the process is you get an idea for an episode. No, it could be from you think of something, or a listener suggests you something, or whatever the case
They
may
often
be.
will send me some links to get me started with something, and I almost always actually start with the Wikipedia page, if it's a topic I'm not familiar with, to find out what the main sources for the information.
I'll run a hypothetical by you.
Go for it.
And you can sort of, as if this is a skeptical topic. So you get it in your head one day that the next Skeptoid or a Skeptoid soon should be all about Vegemite.
Okay.
Take it from there.
Well, assuming there's some...
Email me.
And that episode would probably be the conspiracy theory that Vegemite is actually produced by the government to dumb us all down so that we can be more easily processed into the disintegration camps.
Well, that's fluoride in the water. Here in the United States.
So what I would do in that case is YouTube is a great source to find out what the wild conspiracy claims are.
Right.
Because there's always weirdos who make YouTube videos.
Yeah, like me, yeah.
Yeah, like you.
Yeah.
They'll tell me what books they read, what websites they read. I'll go and look at those. And if it's a health claim, I'll go to something like PubMed to find out what the latest research actually is. If it's some kind of a science claim, I'll look through something like Google Scholar. What's really neat is I've been getting a lot of old books increasingly on either Kindle or books that are really old, and they've been scanned and they're freely available on Google Books. Almost every week now I'm downloading some PDF or a Kindle version of some old book and turning to some old pages.
Because I know that from listening to your show, of course, and seriously, I'm a big fan, you're often citing the oldest references you can on the topic, right? The people who were there at the time, at least, or the newspaper reports at the time.
If you keeping with your example of Vegemite, if Vegemite's a government conspiracy, then you need to go back and find out when Vegemite was actually created, and by who, and where, and why, and what all the implications were, and how it came to be. And if it's been around for 200, 300 years, then that can be quite a project.
Yeah.
And there are sources that have newspaper articles archived going back that far, that are often reasonably searchable. A lot of times the text isn't very good, or the archives are just kind of blurry and hard to read, but that also makes them hard to search and hard to find. But it's a fascinating process, digging and digging and digging, and you always find out that the people on the internet who write blogs and stuff about stuff, they always copy and paste from each other. They're the world's worst plagiarizers. Almost nobody writes anything original. Yeah.
That was the very latest one, the Jersey Devil.
That one, as a young monster hunter or enthusiast, that was one of my favorite ones to read about. And then it was always the same stuff that you would read about. Like Mother Leeds. And that was it.
1735.
It was so surprising to learn that it was a political thing.
Well, to be clear, I didn't find that it was a political thing, but I found that it was very consistent with a political kind of a political smear campaign against Daniel Leeds, and certainly all the circumstances to support that were there, and no other mention of a monster running around killing people. There was no mention of monsters killing people in the newspapers back then.
All right, so you're referencing everything you possibly can. How do you discriminate? How do you think, right, I'll use this information and this information? And bearing in mind, you don't want to speak for 2 hours on the subject, right?
No, you
have to really condense it.
I have to condense and I have to abridge, and a lot of times I'm not able to look at all the sources that I wish I was. For this Jersey Devil one, I found out that most of the oldest references were written by this guy whose name I can't remember at the moment, who was a historian for the city of Atlantic City.
Which is on the East Coast. Right?
Yeah, which is in New Jersey. It's the nearest major city to where the whole Jersey Devil thing got started.
Which is famous for gambling.
And I read I got a hold of this guy's books, which was a big pain, and it almost made me late on the episode because it was so hard to get a hold of this guy's books. And his books were horrible. They were basically like poetry and flowery descriptions of the countryside, as far as being, a description of concrete black and white description of what was happening with the Jersey Devil. They were absolutely useless. And so I spent all this time tracking down what everyone on the internet thinks is the best source. Turned out to be a total bust.
Wow. Because I must admit, and I don't remember when I first heard of the Jersey Devil, but when I first heard it, I thought Jersey in the United Kingdom. Yeah.
Wrong one.
Yeah, because it's not called the New Jersey Devil, is it?
No.
Yeah.
And
here we just call it Jersey anyway.
Yeah? All right, okay.
Jersey.
Yeah, the New Jersey Devil would be the hockey team.
Famous for The Sopranos, huh?
Yeah. And Jersey Shore.
The Housewives?
Now it's a different type of devil now.
But everyone always seems to me that they make jokes about people from New Jersey for some reason.
For some reason. I'm sure we've got New Jersey listeners right now where I'd specify what those reasons are.
But for someone like me, it's like, why? I'm sure New Jersey is a lovely place.
You know the Jersey Shore in Australia, right? The show?
If we do, I don't watch it.
Well, I mean, you were making fun of people from Adelaide the other day, and I wouldn't want to repeat that. What you were
Adelaide people, I promise I was not making fun of you. Adelaide's it's a very lovely city. Very lovely, yeah.
That's what he was saying.
Don't listen to Brian Dunning. Now, okay, we've got to the stage where you've got a limited time, you've got lots of information, and you're going to abridge some and everything else. Now it comes time to writing your script. You need to construct a story, you need to set the premise. This is a big undertaking.
Yeah, I've always got a few in the hopper that are in some kind of outline stage, and I'm always expanding the outline as I go. Working on sometimes one story, sometimes the other, whichever one is, kind of hits my fancy at the moment. And then it's just a matter of, it's largely a matter of then editing and deciding what's the best, strongest information and omitting stuff that's less interesting, less doesn't point as strongly to one conclusion or another. Kind of somewhere along the way, somewhere along the whole process, I kind of get the picture of what the real situation probably is.
Yeah.
Do you have your own editors, or do you edit it yourself?
No, I kind of have to do it all myself because it's so time sensitive. Yeah, exactly. I just simply don't have the time to wait for someone to help me out with something. So somewhere along the process, I'll know kind of what the end conclusion is going to be. Sometimes that's later than I expect, and I end up chopping out 2/3 of the episode because after I've done all the work, I find out
you were going down a wrong.
Yeah, that happens. That happens more often than you'd think.
Yeah, really.
And and I've probably missed that fork in the road sometimes and come up with the wrong conclusion. But
Oh, your listeners let you know.
Oh, they do indeed. But they let me know on every episode. It makes no difference which one it is. Every single episode has gotten just as much criticism as every other. Yeah. Everyone thinks, Dunning really missed the mark on this one. No, Dunning really missed the mark on everyone, depending on who you ask.
Wow. So, after intense research, and then you sit down at the computer and you simply type out the script. You're finally happy with it. You think, this is it, this is the episode. Recording.
Yep.
Recording. Now, it sounds pretty good, I must say. It sounds nice and clear and everything. I'm sure there are a lot of double takes and mistakes and restarts. Yeah. Oh.
We need to refill glasses here.
Thank you.
Do you edit this out for...
Oh, yeah.
Do people enjoy listening to the refilling of glasses?
I'll edit this out, listeners.
How's the fortified wine working out, by the way?
I'm enjoying it. I am enjoying it. I had a little bit of vodka in my. Is this a cab? I think this is a cab.
It's a Shiraz blend.
It's a Shiraz. Okay, blend.
Yeah.
So,
now, listeners, don't drink and drive. No. Brian,
don't drink and float.
Just drink in hot tub. Yeah.
Don't drink in hot tub. So, recording. Let's go. It sounds good. It sounds nice and clear, and you've got this is terrible. I'm flattering Brian Dunning, who's a complete goofball. You've got a good speaking voice for radio. He's got a good face for radio or audio, I must say.
I hear that all the time.
What's the process?
Well, I do the actual recording in GarageBand. My friend Jeff McPherson, of Dr. Tiki fame, the video podcast, advises me there's no need to use more software than you need, or more app than you need. So
good advice.
GarageBand works perfectly well for me, so I don't make any effort to use anything fancier or more complicated that will give me more trouble than it's worth. And I use a professional lavalier microphone, which I was advised by the guy who used to produce the opera. He used to wire the opera singers at UC Irvine opera performances. And he said the best place to wire someone is to put their mic is right smack in the middle of their forehead. Now, you can't do that often in opera because of their costume. They're often wearing a hat or some kind of hair or something like that. But if you can, that's the best place for mic. And I tried putting the mic in all kinds of different places, and there was a significant difference. It sounded great right in the middle of the forehead. Yeah. So that's where I put the mic.
I guess part of the thing about that is, my microphone and the microphone we're using to record this.
Right.
I can't put that in the middle of my forehead. It just wouldn't.
No, you can't.
Duct tape it there.
But you wouldn't get the breath.
Yeah, I have a huge problem with that. When I try to use a regular microphone, the b and p and s, it's real. I'm terrible with that.
Me too. Yeah.
And with the lavalier, that's all completely gone. because it's out of the line of sight of your mouth.
Out of the line of sight of your mouth.
Yes.
Quote, Brian Dunning.
Line
This
of
is
sound.
I like that.
Term.
Out of the line of sight.
Out of the line of sight of your mouth.
As a sound technician would say.
Have another
line of
wine.
sight
That's
of your
good.
mouth.
So you're in your office. You've got the script in front of you. Paper or screen?
Paper.
Paper. You've got a microphone sitting on your forehead. Or forehead, as you called it.
Forehead? Is that the...
Forehead.
Forehead.
Forehead. This is your forehead.
Forehead.
No,
Okay.
it's not.
What do you mean it's
Forehead.
not?
They've been giving the
Head
Aussie a
and
hard
your
time all
forehead.
night.
In the middle of your forehead. And away you go, right? And of course, you do it in one take flawlessly every time.
Yep. Actually, the finished recordings are usually about 20 minutes. Because I end up saying a lot of sentences a couple of times, and someone will walk in the room, or a car will drive by, and all kinds of things will go wrong.
Okay.
But then it takes about an hour to edit it, and
I hear you.
Yeah.
An hour? That's all. That doesn't seem like very long to edit. I mean, really, it sounds it's very.
No, I mean, editing is really
reasonable.
just...
It seems reasonable.
It's cutting out the bad
pieces
bits.
out.
Yeah.
And sliding the pieces together. It's not that bad.
If you have good capture, it goes.
Yeah. I don't have to do any filtering or anything like that.
A recent episode, there's a little hiccup.
Yeah, there's also a little hiccup in, I think it's episode 6, the Pond Magnet Foolishness.
Yeah.
Very early episode in which I was talking, and then continued like this.
Yeah.
And I never went back and corrected it.
It's rare. It's very rare you let that go by. Yeah. I'm sure there have been episodes of the Zone, the Skeptic Zone, have gone out. And as soon as they go out, I'll download it and listen to it as a double and final check. And more than
that.
No, really, oh, you should. More than once, I've been listening to it, and I thought, "Oh no, I forgot to edit out that bit," and I've quickly gone straight back and uploaded it. But then the listeners who get it very first sometimes get the mistakes. But there you go. It's all right.
Yeah, and by the time the first 25,000 people have downloaded it, you get the first feedback.
Thank you, Brian. That's great. And I know a lot of your listeners, who are a lot of my listeners, will think, "Oh, that's how he does it. How about that?"
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, he doesn't have a team of 20 people researching in his office. And
I do have a Google group.
Yeah.
Which is an email list. You're on it. Penny's on it.
I helped you with the episode Student Questions.
Which one? Which one was the question?
Your daughter asked about hair products.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
And as a woman, and I've researched this extensively from a scientific standpoint, and no, the ones that say good for long hair, good for short hair, they don't really like.
Yeah.
There's only so much they can do.
Yeah.
I had great fun researching.
I have. If there's a question that I just can't find, or that I know I'm not going to be able to get access to because it's behind some paywall or something that I don't have, I'll send a question out to this Google group. And
right.
The amount and volume of feedback that I get is just, it's like drinking from a fire hose. It's great. Any question in the world anyone wants to answer, this list will come up with it. And I only get really a chance to use it maybe once or twice a month.
Now, Penny, obviously, you listen to the Skeptoid.
Yes. And
Brian, block your ears. I'm sure you get a lot of great benefit out of it too, as many people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you learn a lot doing the show, of course, Brian, when you're researching all the stuff.
But then I have to forget it the next week when I'm working on the next episode.
But everything you've learned has gone out to the great internets.
Yes.
And is available for everybody, again and again and again. It's. I was showing you earlier this afternoon, actually, Khan Academy. You know this?
Yes, I was just using it today, actually.
So were we.
I'm stretching my legs out. I'm not trying to play footsies with
anybody.
anybody.
What that is.
You took my legs away.
This is a wonderful man, and I can't remember where he lives.
I think he lives in Palo Alto, somewhere in California. Don't quote me on that. I don't know.
But he's put online.
Okay.
He's amazing with mathematics. And he's put on all these free lessons for anybody. You click and say, "Oh, how do I do this thing in calculus?" Oh, click. Yeah. Oh, and there's the YouTube.
I was just looking at a video on partial derivatives just today to study for a test.
And it's such a great attitude that you have, Brian, and so many people have, that here's some information. I'm sure it can benefit people. Go for it. It's free. enjoy, learn. Yeah,
I get the same feedback that you do all the time from people who say, "This has changed my life," or made some incredible difference in their life. That's
it's nice when
it knocks you to the floor every time you read it.
It does, doesn't it?
Approximately how many downloaders? How many people?
It's about 100. It oscillates between 130 150,000. That's unique IP addresses who download one or more episodes in a week. In a 7-day period. I just kind of measure a rolling 7-day period.
Mm-hmm.
Which seems like a lot of
yeah.
up and down to me. So I'm wondering if there's either a server error in my counting in my database or just I don't know.
And it's used in certain schools and universities, I understand?
I hear all the time from teachers who use not only the podcast, but also the books. Every 50 episodes go into a book, which are available on Amazon.com and Skeptoid.com.
Subscribe now, you can get a signed autograph. I was going to say that.
Go ahead, say it.
Go ahead,
subscribe
Penny.
now for a signed autograph copy. I have to.
No, you can't do it. I can't send out a signed autograph book to subscribe to the show.
Just kidding. JK.
Yeah, but people use it as a textbook in their class, and every time I hear that, I'm going, "Oh my God! I never anticipated that." It's gratifying and scary at the same time.
The closest thing towards immortality is like passing on our knowledge.
That's
right.
And I did suggest it to my critical thinking teacher at my community college because all us kids who transfer have to take 2 English classes, and one of them has to be a critical thinking course.
What do they teach in the average critical thinking course?
We go over logical fallacies.
Really?
And my teacher specifically used Demon Haunted World to teach us.
Oh.
And she didn't like me at all. I don't know why, but once
These are the things that they taught us when I was in college. See, this is wonderful.
They do the Socratic stuff, or stuff that's totally irrelevant to anything in the real world.
I think this is wonderful. This is why there's so much hope for the future. I see it. And I see it very
Cheers
clearly.
to that.
But I emailed that teacher last year. I've been out of that school for a while, and I just I thought I'd drop her a line and tell her about your podcast. She didn't reply, but I'm sure she appreciated it. I like to think that she uses it.
I like to think so. Let's all think so.
I get a buzz when you cover topics from Australia.
That's
of
always
course.
Like the Min Min Light?
Yes, like the Min Min Lights or the Westall UFO.
When I was in Australia for TAM Australia, that was one of the funnest weeks I've had in my entire life. It was just so much fun, and I love more topics from Australia. The only other one I have in my folder that I haven't covered yet is the Yowie, and that's all I know about it. So, anyone in Australia, send me more ideas of Australian topics.
You know about the Yowie, Penny?
It's like a hominid, right?
Bigfoot.
Yeah, Bigfoot.
It's our Bigfoot.
It's your Bigfoot.
It's our Bigfoot.
In the outback or in the Great Dividing Range? Is it everywhere?
Well, for a mythical creature, it can be anywhere, can't it?
Yeah.
You see? I saw one in my kitchen yesterday, you see. There were reports from Yowies everywhere, from right up in Queensland in the tropics to down south. Well, of course. Why not? You can make up stuff like that.
It was a giant koala, right?
A drop bear.
Emu.
An emu.
Emu.
Not an emu.
Emu. We say emu here.
Don't.
They only has 3 letters, though.
What's that?
3 sounds for 3 letters.
Emu.
Emu.
And for now, anyway, I'd like to thank everybody who's come along here for the second Skeptics in the hot tub.
Skeptics in the tub.
It might be the third, actually. I have to check on that.
Regularly.
I was very disappointed at the last couple amazing meetings in Las Vegas. They co-opted the name Skeptics in the Tub to simply fill a hot tub full of drunken convention goers without having the intelligent conversation.
Oh, we've had some intelligent conversation.
I think I've just insulted everyone who was there.
I think we're almost past intros, actually.
But, however, what a pleasure it is, Brian, and thank you very much for hosting me here in California. Beautiful, dark and starry California at the moment.
Look at this beautiful, and the moon is still there through the palm trees.
I can see it now. It is absolutely
lovely. Do you remember? Did you see it on Halloween night? It was yellow.
Moon. Was it?
It was. It was yellow.
Did Satan do that?
Yes.
I thought so. So, for now, from Brian Dunning's hot tub, which really does exist, listeners, I can assure you of that. And maybe Brian will do a Skeptoid one day all about his hot tub. Who knows?
Maybe.
We can only hope.
Because that's the reputation I need.
That's it. Cheers, and thank you, Brian Dunning.
Chink, chink. It will make an extra clink because Penny's glass is sunk into the bottom of the tub.
Oh, it's over there.
Well, thank you for listening to the Skeptic Zone. Brian Dunning and I are still here.
Still working on the chili burgers.
Just the last little skerrick of it and the last little bit of beer. Then we're going to head back to our hotel at
Stovepipe Wells. Yes, which is where we are. Panamint Springs is actually just outside the park, and Stovepipe Wells is inside the park. And we're staying there. They've got a great bar there, too,
it's
so
fun.
I think we'll be checking that one out next.
Good fun. I can recommend Death Valley, California. It is a magic place. I can't describe to you what variety of scenery that we experienced today and weather conditions was.
There's a huge diversity. Yeah. I mean, an hour later, you're in a completely different. What's the word? We were talking about this earlier.
You invented a word, geosphere.
Geosphere. You're in a completely different geosphere every hour. We went from low desert to high desert to pinyon pines to snow to the dry lake bed. Sea level, 7,000 above sea level to
it was crazy.
A couple hundred below. We're everywhere. It's I highly recommend it, and the Skeptoid Monster Jeep is ready to take you on the trip of your dreams.
I can attest to that. Well, Brian Dunning, thank you very much for hosting me here in California and taking me to this wonderful place. So cheers, Brian. Thank you.
Cheers indeed.
And until next time, this is Richard Saunders signing off from Death Valley, California.
You've been listening to the Skeptic Zone. Visit our website at www.skepticzone.tv for comments, contacts, and extra video reports.